I think, great. Good afternoon. I think we'll start with the session on, I'm here, this is Madhu here from Amazon. I'm the technical evangelist, and I'm going to talk to you about using artificial intelligence and machine learning in financial services and how we could take advantage of this fairly disruptive piece of technology that's coming our way. Right, so what is AI, what is ML, right? And we look at how to enable innovation at scale. So when we look at it from that standpoint, one of the first things we observe is that you have the need, right? I mean, AI is something that's had a number of false starts. You must have seen the very early chess games that were won, the potential forecast that there's going to be situations where AI is going to be very, very disruptive. We had its winter in AI for some time, and then after that winter again it woke up again, and then we had another round of winter. And now what we are seeing right now is the fact that progressively this piece of technology can actually be used very, very efficiently. And some of the reasons why this has happened is the fact that you have new capabilities that you can add to your existing products. You can bring optimization, you can bring automation to what you do, and you can fundamentally change the nature of how you service your business, right? That's primarily where it comes from. And this, according to McKinsey, right, after all these various false starts, and you can start seeing that when you look at your risk mechanism, your automation mechanisms, the ability to use AI becomes much more capable today. The second part of it is, where is the opportunity? The opportunity is about a $15 trillion business globally, right? Whether it's healthcare, automotive, the ability for you to look at where you do your business and how to go and tap against it. I mean, this is again a McKinsey's report, PwC report here, talks about a $15 trillion business against which financial services has the greatest impact. But huge risks of fundamental disruption continue to follow us, right? The fact that you have machines now giving you the underlying support to make that means if you are a very traditional organization and your data is not with you and your data is actually inside somebody's head, right? As opposed to, or in spreadsheets somewhere sitting idly, or in some highly disconnected systems, what you're going to find is the younger organizations that are able to collect this data have the ability to primarily disrupt you because they have the ability to bring this data together, use this piece of technology to bring the cost of doing your business much, much lower. What does it take? I mean, I was here over the last couple of hours in various discussions, right? And what we here see today is the fact, and remember, I'm not a financial services professional, but if I look at it in simple forms, NBFCs borrow money from one place and you lend it to another location, primarily. You borrow money from one place and lend it somewhere else, right? And you do business in the spread in between, right? If that cost of doing that business in the spread in between can be reduced by technology, and that's largely what technology is all about. If I can reduce it fundamentally, it has become very, very interesting, and that's what your new age companies will do. They will use data to go after that particular aspect of the cost of doing your business and say, I can acquire this money cheaper, or I have the ability to assess the risk better, therefore acquire new business better, right? And my cost of doing everything in between is smaller, right? And anybody who does that is going to continue to win. That's digital disruption for you, in simple words, right? So where are the areas where we can go and touch? Simple areas: compliance, surveillance, fraud detection. All of us have to do that. Document processing, pricing and product recommendation, trading, and customer experience. All of this is cost or operational business for you today, right? Whether it is accounting fraud, money laundering, sanctions, compliance processing, optimization, how do I run my compliance? What do I have to comply with? If your cost of compliance can be brought down, suddenly you get faster at doing your business. If I have the ability to process your documents faster, and UPI and Aadhaar-based business is a fantastic example, right? It's a piece of technology that has enabled you to take what would take 25, 30, 45 days to do, to bring it down to a few days. The question is, why is it not a few hours? Is it as simple as shopping online? Should be, right? Eventually. Next is pricing and product recommendation. Can you create price mixes, product mixes as fast as you can? And how do I ensure that is offered in front of the customer, the visibility in front of the customer as quickly as possible? And finally, when the customer does buy a product, what is your ability to service them? What is the mechanics through which you service them? How effective are you in servicing them? That's all the areas in which you want to bring technology in, and that's how you bring your cost of business down. So let's look at how the financial services industry has married to this underlying technology called AI and ML. What is this and where is it married? This is the McKinsey report. This is the McKinsey Global Institute AI report. They basically called it the next digital frontier. There's actually a nice 50, 60-page compendium that you can get from them. So if you look at that nice horizontal line on that thing, right, that's all the various variables, whether they are assets, usage, labor, what does it take to adopt AI in your business as an NBFC or a financial service institution, and where have you actually done, how much have you done? And if you look at that marker that goes in there, that's actually the actual AI adoption that NBFCs have done. You will see it's actually one of the lowest. Right? Given the fact NBFCs actually have a strong appetite for this, there is large volumes of data that you actually gather that you have not used, right? And the ability to bring this together makes you fundamentally disruptive, and that's the area. That means this is the area that's absolutely ripe for disruption. Many, many industries starve for data. NBFCs is one of those areas where you actually have the ability because you receive this data with you. It is there sitting with you today. What is preventing the industry from moving ahead? Naturally, to adopt this technology, you need to have the expertise. You need to have the technology. I mean, getting them is expertise is hard. Building and scaling this technology can be hard. Deploying and operating models is time-consuming and expensive. It's like sort of the semi-Confucius state. So all of these challenges constantly, like, how do I do this? So it's much more easier to do business the way I'm doing it today, right? Can I do this better and faster, right? Now, I come from Amazon, so I'm going to talk about what we offer as services. So offers a range of tools to make AI and ML more accessible, right? How do we do that? So let's look at these services. I'm not going to deep dive into the services right now. I don't want to bore you with technology. But think about it. If you're using technology, anything that you do, any business you do, any technology that you do offers in the form of a stack. Way deep down, you have a set of plumbing technologies, like how you do your business today. You have your operational team, your business team, your customer-focused team. Technology stack is the same way. Way deep down is your base technology, and then you stand on top of each of these pieces to go as you go higher. Way up top, you have these simple services that you consume that can take it forward. I'm going to talk about 3 fundamental services, which is what we call Lex, Poly, and Recognition, and we'll talk about what they are and what they can do. Right? And before I go there, very quickly, right? Again, we differentiate ourselves in the fact that many of you know Amazon. Way up there on the left, what you see is our 1995 website. Really old school. Nothing looks like that anymore today, right? That website had a marking to saying that, you know what, we can recommend the right books for you to read. That's recommendation, right? Very simple machine learning applied to recommendation. Can you read the right book? And this was 1995, and we all know what happened after that. People just got the right books to read, right? To high-end drone technology that we start offering in Cambridge in UK today, or the Amazon Go store in Seattle, where you have no checkouts. If any of you have seen the videos of Amazon Go store, it's basically the mechanism is this, right? You walk into the store, pick up the items you pick, and then you just walk out of the store. There are no checkout lines. There is no cashier. You just walk out. The system figures out what you picked and what happened, and therefore it bills you automatically, right? The drone technology is very simple. It figures out what needs to be delivered to whom, and in 30 minutes from the time you order, the drone actually delivers it to your house. Right? This is all based on AI and ML technologies. So we have been investing in this stack quite heavily. Now, how do I offer this back to you as customers of Amazon? Right? And we have customers who work on that. I'm going to very quickly go over the services. What are these services? You have Lex, Poly, and Recognition. What is Lex? Lex is basically the ability for you to build chatbots. Right? Very simple customer service engagement touch point. And you all are familiar with our Echo offering, which is our Alexa voice intent offering, which Akshat talked about earlier today. But the ability for you to build an intent-based conversation, I need a loan, right? Or what is the amount of EMI I have to pay this month? Or how do I have a question on, can I, make the payment a little bit later? What would be the impact of doing this? N number of questions a customer has, and the responses that needs to happen. Do you need a human person interacting for this? Yes, a human definitely helps. But how many of those questions can actually be done differently? And let's step back and think about it. How many of you have a call center today? Most of you have one. When I call the call center, what is the first thing that happens? It says, press 1 for doing this, press 2 for doing this, press 3 for doing this, press 4 for doing this, right? And then I press 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, it doesn't matter what I press, I have another menu to go through. Why can't you simply ask the customer, what would you like us to help you with today? And the customer says, I want to do this. And then you just simply branch off to the right agent. Simple conversation interface. How fast does it take? Now suddenly if you talk to your call center person, he'll say, you know what, this is great AHT. What is AHT? Average customer handling time. Because the person did not sit on the IVR for 15 seconds figuring out 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And it is a much superior call center experience. Can I do this? Yes, absolutely. How about doing it multi-channel? Start in a digital channel, convert it to a voice channel later on. Can it be done? Absolutely can be done. What is Poly? Poly is a speech product, right? It takes simple language text and converts it to voice, right? You type in English, it converts it to voice, and we have this available in Indian English today in a voice called Ravina. You can use that, and a number of institutions globally are using this to convert their FAQs, their text, their documents to voice so that any number of people can actually listen to it. And remember, voice is a very, very powerful way to educate others in the construct, right? It's a nice way to be able to spell out your product. Not everything has to be a reading pamphlet. Right? And the final one is recognition. And we look at how many of these are actually used in the industry. Informational bots, news updates, investment information, account information in banking and insurance. Application bots build powerful interfaces for booking, trades, pay bills, right? Manage bank accounts, capital markets, insurance, right? Enterprise productivity, check sales numbers, marketing. This is the internal use cases, right? If you can make your salespeople more productive, that is time saved. That is cost of efficiency brought in. If your salesperson is not preparing a report, that's time saved. He's talking to a customer somewhere else. Right? That's cost of business. IoT, of course. IoT is the outer edge of this technology. And when you bring that in, when you have location-based information, wearables, telematics for insurance, your underlying cost of doing business starts getting lower and lower. That's largely what technology does to you. Recognition is about bringing facial recognition, automated account opening. How about recognizing the face of the person? Let's say, for example, I open an account, you ask me to send you a photograph, I send you Salman Khan's photograph. You should be able to recognize it's Salman Khan's photograph and not mine, or at least it definitely looks not even close to me. Right? You want to know who that is. Maybe the photograph doesn't even have a human face in it. Right? All of this is automation that you can bring to the table. Biometric authentication of transactions. Forms. Can you convert a paper form that was sent into actual characters and take it back into fill up your form, about 80% of it? Remember, if an operator is not typing 80% of the form, that's 80% of the time saved. Right? Accident confirmation, identifying, picking up photographs, identifying objects in a photograph, what is there? And then financial information extraction from financial instrument taxonomy, so on and so forth. All of this can be done using recognition today. As I said, I'm not doing detailed demos. There's only a 15-minute talk. But when you're ready, we'll be very, very happy to show that to you. So at the heart of it, I'm not going to go into much of this. Let's look at what is the areas around pattern recognition and machine learning that we can use, right? Surveillance, credit card accounting fraud, sales practice monitoring, trading and risk management, predictive grid computing, and compliance, whether it's client type identification, client alert monitoring, risk scoring optimizations can all be executed very efficiently using machine learning. Deep learning frameworks, again, what we talked about is go ahead, build your own deep learning framework where you see necessary, but this is fairly advanced technology. At this point, you've actually had very, very large data sets in your organization to get ahead. This is the area where you start saying, I'm going to start training my own risk models, right? And we look at customers who are actually doing that today, right? This is the place where you would start saying, can machines automatically underwrite loans, right? Can it actually do algorithmic trading? Can it do portfolio management and optimization of a customer? Can it look at all the portfolios you have and look at what is the best way to manage the portfolio? That's the area where it comes in. Or handling challenges around anti-money laundering and market manipulation. For example, I'll talk about a very simple use case. There is TradeWorks, SEC, and FINRA, 3 organizations in the US, right? The SEC is the regulator. FINRA is the technology body that actually captures the information around what is happening in the market trades. And TradeWorks is the organization that actually looks at the events that occurs in the market. Approximately 75 billion signals, there is event trades and information arrive at these organizations every day. 75 billion events arrive every day. They use deep learning and machine learning algorithms to resimulate and identify if a fraud has occurred on our platform every day. Right? And they have the ability, once they sense that something is wrong, they have the ability to recreate a particular event down to a single transaction in a span of 3 seconds. What used to take them weeks, they can recreate that flow in a span of seconds. That means they can simulate a condition and say, what would happen if these trades did not occur, or if this new structure did not occur, how would this trade have actually changed? They can remodel it, revalidate it, and go back and say, yes, this particular news item or these sort of trades actually influence the market the right or wrong way. And they can resimulate it and do it. And remember, this is 75 billion events a day that we are talking of that runs on our platform today in the US. The SEC, the FINRA, the TradeWorks platform manages this. Right? That's market manipulation identification. Customer success stories, I'm talking about very simple success stories here that are using AI and ML in the business. Major US financial institution, cannot in a position to name the names. They basically use chatbots to fundamentally interact with customers, right? I mean, it's a very simple interface. I mean, this is something that I would say many of you should start looking at very actively. It's a conversational interface. They use the Echo machine, left at people's homes, used in offices to actually engage and have these conversations. You can basically say, I want to make this payment. I want to know what my balance is. I would like to understand when is my next payment due. Can you tell me what are the other products available in here? And the responses do come back to you. A Latin America-based investment bank that uses the same technologies to implement solutions that automatically analyze unstructured data. Again, look at unstructured data and how you can leverage on top of that. Fraud.net, very, very large. It's actually the world's largest financial crime prediction on the credit card business. They actually use this platform. And what they do is they actually handle about 2 to 2.5% of the US commerce business on credit cards. All those transactions hit them from traders and from merchants. They analyze the fraud and return back with sensitivity of fraud in a matter of seconds, right? So they completely scale on our platform. If you look at it, the response time is about 200 milliseconds and save customers about $1 million a week. That's their benefit use case that they're able to bring to the table, right? BuildFax. BuildFax is an organization that basically does building permit risk management. They actually assess the risk of any given house. If a house is about to go on sale, they can understand what is the risk on it, and they basically tell if you're giving a housing loan, whether this makes sense to do, whether it does not make sense to do, where is the risk in this. They use machine learning to understand where are the risks in the housing. So, for example, you take pictures of the houses, you look at the aging, you look at the building permits that have been taken against this house, looks at the new models and understands and validates and says, you know what, this is where the risk on this house exists today. Right? So that the person who's underwriting it understands really what they're writing. And remember, that is where the comparative knowledge comes in, right? If you're able to give a housing loan 0.5% lower, 0.1% lower, 0.2% lower, you're better off than the next person out there. And that's all about understanding risk, right? And that's largely, again, another area where machine learning technologies are used actively. If you guys are ready to build your use case, choose the right tools, devise an implementation plan. We are there to help. That's my contact details out there. Srikanth from our organization is right here for anybody who wants to talk to him. He's our head of our BSFSI business. Very, very happy to engage and have a conversation around this. Thank you.